Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
New emails between my fake ex and my real dad are moving and shaking as we speak. I said it and forget it. We'll come to you with those very soon. Chemda, hello.
Hi, how's it going?
Well, you're having a time, aren't you?
You're always saying that, so I always want to defend it.
Right.
I always want to be like, Keith, everyone's having a time. Time is normal. Time moves forward. It's always 4:20. Relax yourself.
We'll end today's show with an email from a listener asking, how does Chemda keep her positive attitude? All right. I'll tell you why it's very funny to me right now. Today's guest has been featured on the Doug Benson shows, Getting Doug with High, Doug Loves Movies, as well as the Hot Mess Comedy Hour, our buddy and yours, Trey Galyon.
Hey, guys.
Hi, Trey.
Hey.
Hey.
Now, thank goodness you happen to be here because you're known for being a pothead, right?
Correct.
And you happen to have some on you, and it helped Chemda in a big way. Mm-hmm. She was given pain pills for her knees.
Right.
She's about to have surgery coming up. And putting her knees certain ways has been killing her back. Well, she hasn't been using the pain pills. She hasn't been necessarily needing them, so she didn't think to have them with her today, and today has been a horrific day for her. If you see her on camera live right now, it looks like she's one of those podcast asshole lounging guests.
I feel terrible.
like just trying to make it a point to lounge, even though it clearly looks uncomfortable. Like, no, I'm lounging.
So she has a couch made out of 3 chairs. How you doing?
Don't I look great? Don't I look super comfortable?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Don't I look like someone's feeding me grapes?
And then on top of it, also the reason Chemda has to move from her normal spot is something was wrong with the mic. It kept flopping. I go to twist it. Apparently, I don't want to brag about my strength, but it's been ready to crack apparently because it comes right off. Now, when there's just one more thing going wrong, I don't know if you're like me. I'm ready to burn the place down.
Oh, I almost cried 3 times today, but I held it together. Because now even physical therapy hurts. Like I'm in a room with the physical therapist, another physical therapist, and then some other patients, and I'm literally going, ow, I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Now, we filled the audience in not too long ago. You need to get the knee surgery. You needed an overall health update. Chemda, of course, some time ago had a tumor removed.
Right.
The disease you have is a 1 in a billion disease. What is that?
Thymoma.
Okay, so congratulations. Some people win the lottery. This happens to her.
I've never heard of it.
An autoimmune disease. It's not good, but...
Well, it comes with an autoimmune disease.
it comes with its own baggage. Right.
Parting gifts?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get back what you put out. So she gets rid of the tumor, but God opens windows of disease. So she sees...
He's so comforting.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, and I've said this for years, okay? If, let's say, 1 out of 4 people have cancer, make friends with 3 people that have cancer. So the more bad things that Chemda has,
Totally.
the more I'm better friends.
It really seems like the worse my life is, the better yours is.
Look around. I've been having a hell of a week. Been getting laid, everything's working out. So Chemda has to do a checkup on her overall health just to get the knee surgery. So she gets...
You have to get clearance for surgery. It's actually called clearance. It's very strange.
Yeah. So she gets it done, and they find something in her throat, and they go, it's related to your disease. It's not good. It's she makes him to feel like it sounds like you have AIDS, but you can't transfer it. You know what I mean? It's like your body's eating itself. Not only just not protecting itself.
Well, what happened was she's like, it looks like that's your thymus, and with your autoimmune disease, myasthenia gravis, you're just gonna keep picking up autoimmune diseases. So most likely this is gonna be your second one. So I go, am I gonna die? And she goes, not necessarily. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get Starbucks after this because I've earned it.
Now she's a general practitioner, right? Now she does work with LGBT community and things like this. So maybe she sees a lot of these diseases that are killing people. But I said it was completely out of line and not her place. She's not the specialist to say when it comes to where you die, not necessarily. And I despise doctors. And, they always usually say the opposite. Not necessarily sounds so bad that to me it must be good. Because when they say no problem, it's bad. They don't know what's going on.
It's
out
true
there.
because last time she said, because I was like, oh, I'm having these really bad chest pains, and she said it's gas, and it turns out to be a tumor. So this time she said it's probably another autoimmune disease, and it turned out to be nothing. So
yeah, because she's like you said, she's a general practitioner. She's not a specialist. She's just taking stabs at the dark.
You know what she is? A fun
Technically.
time.
Yeah, and it's a shame, I know, to find out your doctor's an idiot.
It's weird she checks my heartbeat after this news. It's like, guess what else you have going on?
Right.
But it's like, yeah, she's a doctor, but if she doesn't know what it is, then it might as well be any of us. Like, we're all on a level playing field at that point then. We could all guess at it, same as her.
I can go, I wouldn't necessarily say death. Why not, Keith? Because I didn't go to school for it.
Right.
You know?
But it's so weird to me how easily I diagnose myself. I'm just like, sounds like I got 2 to 10. Let's make life the best. I swear, I was like convinced that this is, I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to hit 50 and that's pretty good.
We could throw you in a bubble and prolong that by a couple years, I'm sure.
Oh, I'd love to live in a bubble. Could it be like half a pool?
Whatever you want.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Hemda says, well, what should the doctor have said? Nothing. I don't know. This isn't my place of business. Well, it turns out, surprise, surprise, it's nothing. Ha 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 ha. Now, the doctor, of course, doesn't go, oh, my goodness, I must have scared you when I said not necessarily when it comes to are you about to die soon? I probably shouldn't have said anything. No, the answer is not necessarily. I know a woman that she was getting an annual checkup downstairs, and they said, oh, come on in. Looks like you have cervical cancer. She comes on in. They check again. They go, no, you don't. Stop yapping so much. Just calm the fuck down. You know the great Alan Alda from MASH? He has a company that works with scientists, so the scientists learn how to use regular words and explain scientific things to normal people. Yeah. I never thought there'd need to be a business like this, but when I think about the doctors I've seen, because I don't, we don't have to see scientists yearly. We should, but we don't. But I can compare them to doctors. They don't know how to talk to people. We need this kind of business.
And she's got the best tableside manner I've had.
Oh, yeah?
That's why I keep going to her, because she's my OBGYN. And she just goes really quick down there, and
well, I don't know what
I feel comfortable with her.
Tableside manner is, but I know what bedside manner is, and it'd be nice if she had some of that.
I'm propped on the table.
Right. You mean literally? She has great scalpel play.
She's got nice magazines in the waiting room.
No, God only grants so many gifts, and if she's a good doctor, then she's a terrible communicator. That's the rules. That's just the way it goes. I see a doctor. I'm a doctor on a dating app. I swipe in the bad way. No.
Yes.
That's a turn off. That means you don't know how to communicate. I have a general practitioner as is. What are you going to do? Guess at everything again?
Oh, you mean a nurse practitioner because she's not a doctor?
No. I mean a doctor because they don't have to. I raised her to a doctor, this woman you're talking about.
Oh, she is a doctor, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So these doctors don't know how to talk.
Right. But a nurse, you would swipe on a nurse. Yes.
Yeah, because they probably couldn't be a doctor because they know how to talk.
Right.
Right. They have other skills.
Yeah, because they have to deal with the general public all the time. Like, they're dealing with patients all the time, so they know how to talk to them, and very caring.
I really need to hang out with you guys more. I could simplify my thoughts.
No, you're doing great. Yep. Thanks. A microphone broke and you're ready to cry. So... when's your knee surgery now? Now that they found out you're not dying.
On Monday.
On Monday.
Okay.
Now, are they going in with scopes, or they got to cut the whole thing open?
So actually, they're not happy with how far I've bent my foot, even though I keep going more and
more.
more.
Your leg?
Yeah, my leg. And so
they want you to do it more.
Yeah. So I'm going in. They're going in and just bending it for me. So they give you anesthesia so everything could relax, and they just bend it. Then after they do that, they're gonna see if after bending it, it's okay enough to work in it. So technically, this is not the surgery I'm supposed to have. I'm supposed to fix my ACL, RCL, whatever CLs there are. I ripped open all of them. Ugh. So if after the bend they can fix some of that, they will. If not, I got to keep going in.
And you don't kill yourself.
Should I?
No.
I'm taking suggestions.
Yeah, no. I mean, people handle things differently, Good for you.
Thank you.
But I got a little nervous when Keith broke the microphone off, even anxious, like, oh man, what's gonna happen now?
Did he Hulk out? I was in the bathroom.
Yeah, he gorilla handed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does this one.
No, she means when I get upset, I pound the desk once, I go, "Arr!" and then I'm okay.
Oh.
But
no.
It's really weird. It's like, he can't pound through the table, And so he thinks it's okay because he didn't like punch through something, but it's the equivalent of punching a wall, but not having to like plaster it again.
Right.
And so his description is, what? I just get it out. Everybody knows I'm okay. Yeah. And it's not like I'm doing anything. Meanwhile, he doesn't look around when he punched the not wall. Everybody in the room is looking down like, that's normal, and he's okay, and he'll be okay, and I don't think we should interrupt him.
Yeah. And I'll tell you something else.
Terrorist.
I haven't cried since 1996.
Good for you, man.
Yeah.
Like, not even a random...
So you tell me what's healthy. I don't know what you guys are talking about, these pussy commercials.
You telling me, like, a song hasn't triggered a cry or anything since 96?
Oh, I hear, like, the sounds of silence. I punched a desk once.
All right. Yeah, no, he didn't full-on Hulk out. It was more of a sigh than a grunt.
Okay.
But it was like... Oh, yeah, that definitely annoyed him.
Oh, that means he got laid last night.
But, all right, nice.
Yeah, when like cabinet doors are being left open and you're not fucking him, like he'll get gorilla'd out. But if he's getting laid on a regular, he'll be like, God damn it, everything's always bad. Anyway, gotta go get sex.
Can you get, when you, every day, of course, on social media, people jump on some issue. Even if it's a secondhand opinion, they grab an issue and yell passionately about it.
Yes.
Fuck the other side. For example, today happens to be the day after Joe Biden running for president, and people are quickly jumping on things going, fuck you, fuck you. Do you look at that and think, I wish I had the time? Does it affect you? Can you still pick a side to things? Do you know what I mean? Because to me, if I had everything going on with you right now, I'd be like, who gives a shit? I'll wait the Joe Biden thing out. There's 620 people running for president. I'll see if it even matters later on. There's nothing I can do about it. I'll remind people about Anita Hill, but he seems to have apologized. The end. Or do you get into it?
No, I don't get into much. I don't get into much. Like, right. I've mellowed out. I know that I'm being called aggressive, and I understand it, but I've mellowed out. I've also like been reading books about how to be happy, genuinely happy. So I am learning a lot about that stuff, and I am genuinely happy. And none of this has made me want to kill myself. And truth be told, I normally do want to kill myself. Like, I'm getting a divorce. I have like a bunch of health issues, and normally I would start genuinely thinking of ways out. But I haven't been in the last 2 to 4 years. I haven't even considered it.
There you go.
Which is big, yeah. It's huge.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah,
is it because of weed and it's like hard to form thoughts?
I want to do what again?
Right. What was I doing? There's a knife in your hand and a rope around your neck. I was just in this room.
Oh.
It helps you simplify things. Like, clearly it wasn't that important if I didn't keep doing it.
Right. If you keep forgetting what your plan was, your plan could never be to kill yourself.
Right.
Hemda reads that 7,000 Boy Scouts, scout leaders, have been having sex with children. She's like, you think? No shit. I want to hang out with kids in the woods. No shit. What a fucking surprise. 7,800 Boy Scout leaders. So when 7,800 Boy Scout leaders are caught fucking kids, we're old enough to know that means what? 50,000?
Yeah.
A lot more, yeah.
For sure.
Right. Teaching knots.
Well, what's the total number of Boy Scout leaders? I want to know that.
7,801.
Right?
The buddy you know.
I'm glad I stopped in Cub Scouts.
So so you're wondering how I could be happy when shit like this is going on, because this really could make me want to kill myself. This is like horrendous and torture for a lot of people.
Right. But you would let it affect you that much, just the knowing how much it affects other people and families, that it would...
You know what it is? It would pile on. It would be like, of course, everyone's a monster. Like, what is there to live for? You know, there's, if children are being like, what is the point? Like, how can you believe in God? God ruins everything. God creates wars. Here are the wars that are happening. Like, it could just spiral and keep going.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. It's fun times. But so here's the thing. All of this has been going on for centuries, and worse than this. Right. And now it's not that this just happened last night, that all these thousands of kids got injured and traumatized. It's that now we're talking about it and we're being public about it, and not going, oh, mom and dad shouldn't have sent them with scout leaders, or we're not going, what were they wearing for whatever, or like, don't talk like that about your uncle. We're not saying shit like that as much as we used to, which makes me believe that we are working to be a better world. Also, we're always going to be shit. It's just going to free flow. We're going to do whatever we want from our perspective. So just try to be as empathetic as possible and keep it moving.
Does it bother you that you've had suicidal thoughts, but there's not an epidemic of pedophiles killing themselves? You know, that would make me...
Oh, well, they're more satisfied, aren't they?
That would make me feel more for pedophilia being a disease if there was some epidemic of them killing themselves and leaving a note behind saying, please look into this. Because I'll tell you what, if I know somebody in extreme pain that murdered themselves, and I understand that. But pedophilia, I have this disease no one can cure. I can fight it. No, I'd be off the bridge in 2 seconds. I promise you.
We are insane. It's like, aren't you grateful that you're not a pedophile if you're not one? Like, aren't you grateful that you were not...
Completely.
You know what I mean? That you have no affinity for this, that you've never found a child attractive.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's weird to say that, but it's the thing that not only are they not allowed to do forever, you know, the gratification, we all love porn, like it's the number one thing. It's everything that we do in life is to have sexual gratification. They never, ever get to have that unless they're criminals, which they are, and you really need to put yourself on a shelf. And not only that, they're not allowed to talk about it. So they're just outside of society no matter what they do. And it's torture, and they end up torturing other people, themselves. It's a crazy, disgusting existence that we live, this Sims world that we're in. Turn it off!
Did you
Oh, no, I'm not supposed to think that.
Did you know the Boy Scouts, to join them, you have to believe in God?
It's a Christian-based organization. Yeah, I knew that.
Wait, for real? That's like a thing that they say?
Yeah, at least a God.
I'm starting to think believing in God means believing you can touch and do anything you want.
Yeah, don't have an organization where you have to believe in a God and then tell me, for fun, let's learn knots. I don't like it.
Oh, you managed to swing the new pedophilia joke from that fucking tree.
I'm telling you, when that Notre Dame burned down, I was like, God's getting meta.
No, yeah.
Right?
I didn't have a problem with that at all. Everybody was like, this is horrible. And it's like, is it really that horrible?
And you're religious, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not.
So how does it feel? And, you know, I get it now. I used to like be very angry. Like, how could you believe in God? You're in this like regular world. You and I talk on a normal basis. You're like, what part of your brain is demented? But I get it now. So welcome, and it's nice to be friends.
Yeah, right?
But how does it affect you? Like, I know in the past, and this maybe is a weird comparison, when Israelis act up around me, I'll speak Hebrew like more mild-mannered. Because they're like, hey, get me the thing from the back of the store. And I'm like, excuse me, pardon me, if you have a moment. You know, like.
Do you guys have those words? Be honest.
Pardon?
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to get punched in the face for being a pussy.
Right.
Wow.
Let's get it in. Trey. So anyway, sometimes like you feel like your thought process represents your entire group's thought process. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why they say like Al-Anon, don't talk about it in public, because if people don't like you, they won't like Al-Anon at all.
Right.
Like, oh, that's what made you ill.
Well, I think that's so. Then I think my parents probably have a lot to do with that, and just them working with churches and them having a very good way of putting the whole thing into perspective for me, I guess. Which is like, my parents have never claimed to be perfect to me or acted that way or anything, and have made it very clear that none of us are perfect, and that's part of the basis of what we believe.
My dad does that too. If I catch him doing something wrong, he goes, the beauty.
Right?
That's the beauty. I'm like, I know, but that's my piggy bank, and get away from it. The beauty of God.
I mean, yeah, and to see my parents be vulnerable about certain things that a lot of parents probably aren't.
And so do they have a response to when pedophilia happens and it's like part of the clergy or like people high up in some sort of God situation?
Or the Boy Scouts now.
And the Boy Scouts has to do with God.
I mean, other than they don't try to make excuses for it, if that's what you mean.
Because I think a lot of people do.
My dad does.
Not
and
at all.
A lot of people do.
Yeah.
Every business has pedophilia in it. And it's like, well, it's not known that there's a fireman epidemic. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
Like when I say don't drop the soap, what joke is that? That's
Right.
a prison joke.
Yeah.
We all know rape, prison. Yeah.
Right.
It's not a fireman joke.
Right.
Yeah. So unfortunately, it's either the Catholic Church or prison.
Do they say anything about it? My dad he says it's sick, but then, does go to it's every group. Like, okay, well, never mind. This isn't a conversation.
Also,
Yeah,
this
like,
group is
no.
supposed to be better.
Right. Of
Yeah.
course, there's trust. There's everything. Everything's different. Also, everything's there to make it worse.
Yeah.
Right. What are you defending? Pope Benedict XVI says the sexual revolution of the 1960s is to answer for all the child sex abuse in the Catholic Church. It was because of all that hippiedom.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah,
he
again,
wrote that.
excuses.
Yeah, he wrote that. Why did pedophilia reach such proportions, he writes? Ultimately, the reason is the absence of God. He cited the appearance of sex in films in the 60s, and the hippie movement made homosexual cliques, which acted more or less openly and significantly changed the climate.
That makes me feel like he is so into the stuff that he's bashing because, you know, the guys that are like, look what she's doing to me by looking hot. This is the look what they're doing with porn by making me horny. Do you know what I mean?
And
Does
why
that
is he
make sense?
feeling the need to even make this statement? Like, I mean, again, anybody with half a brain knows the real truth of it. But then, yeah, to say that it was the hippie culture and sex in movies, then that helped homosexualism to explode, and then you're going to again tie that, and then the next step is you're going to be like, so he's a homosexual, he's clearly going to go to little boys.
And
like none of those connect. There's no
Yeah.
connections.
Well,
those
first
are
of
weak
all,
connections.
Stop fighting those heterosexual movies.
Yeah.
Encourage a 9.5 weeks. Never mind, I don't remember what kid fucking movies were out in the 60s. I do know there was that song, take a load off Annie, put the load on little Jeremy. I mean,
Yeah,
that song, that was too much, Neil Young, Heart of Gold, right? Keep me searching for a heart of gold. I'm growing old, right? Looking for young. Yeah. You have to assume that's what he meant.
Right.
What a jerk.
Of course.
Even the printing company should have threw up. Like, I'm not printing this article. What are you doing?
I'm going to start looking at little kids in movies differently now.
I think people are scared so much that they actually do believe this hype. Like, it took me a long time to understand the war on drugs and what it actually meant.
Well, they're reaching for it's like, give me any excuse, please, please, please. Hippie culture, done. Mm-hmm. I can explain. I get paid by the word. Nope, no need. No need. Really, the peace and love movement. Yeah, peace and love, little boys. What? The end. Domine, get on your knees.
Yeah, anybody that defends the Catholic Church, you need to.
And again, Trey's religious. That's the thing. That's what's.
Well, we're Baptists, though, so I think that's part of it, too, is my parents are like, Catholics, stupid.
Right.
You don't need a priest to talk to God. You can just talk straight to him. You don't need a middleman.
That's what Baptist is?
Baptists, yeah, like Jesus died for your sins.
Yeah, do you know you guys still have a church?
Yeah.
Do you go?
Oh. Yeah, I mean, I don't go regularly.
Right.
But like I'll go when I'm with my parents.
Yeah,
we'll go to their church.
God gets it.
But then Brooklyn Tabernacle I'll go to, and I really like them because their preacher is really good, Dr. Cimbala.
It's odd to me when I hear somebody say they're agnostic, because whenever they say it, I hear them also saying that they don't want to upset God. Like, I know these people, so I know from interacting with them that they don't really believe, but they don't want to say it in case God hears that. Mm-hmm. But to me, saying agnostic as opposed to atheist is worse. If I was God, I'd be like, you don't know? Like, if you knew and you were wrong, we can talk. You don't, I didn't prove it yet. I didn't do enough shit. You don't know. Well, think about it. Get back to me. I'll be here. I don't know. You meet him in heaven. You go, I didn't know. I wasn't sure. You didn't do enough. Between putting yourself on the cross and turning water into wine and killing the firstborn male babies. Yeah, Noah's Ark. I wasn't sure. I had a hint.
Do you ever feel guilty that you don't believe anymore? Do you ever feel like, what if there is?
Not in the least. Not in the least. It'd be fun. I'd love to walk around dopey like Trey.
Oh, it's like the people that you're like, are you vegan? And they're like, well, I'm vegetarian.
By the way, Hemda, speaking of sex, let's move on to a more, this is a more positive note. Hemda's celibacy, which she put on herself. I know people, I keep saying this because people must think, was she caught stealing from a store and this is a government sentence? No, she put on herself that she will be celibate for a year after following her divorce. She has a month left to go. For a year, so that she knows that she's using sex in the right way, that she knows the person, that she's not confused what is friendship, what is love, what is getting moist.
Ooh,
that sounds ridiculous.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How come?
Why? Because I say just get moist for a while and let everything sort itself out.
But I but I make bad decisions when I'm moist. If we're going to keep using this goddamn word.
Yeah, but no, I think
Andrea's going to die.
But I think, well, since you only have a month left, like, screw it.
Right.
But I think that first 6 months should have been the time when you were like, hey, I'm just going to go out and have some fun.
But I did that before. And what happens is I put it in the wrong place. And
But you're older, wiser, so you can.
I didn't trust myself.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fair then.
Yeah. I didn't know. Like, I felt like any decision I would make would be a bad idea.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I've never been there, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. You've never texted a friend like, I'm horny. Let's just pretend we're talking normal to this friend. I don't want to be doing that.
What?
Okay, Trey.
Well, also you have to believe these people when they say things, right? You have to listen to them. I heard one woman happened to be at Surf Reality, and she's on stage. I'm dating, and this is a long time ago, of course. And I'm dating, and she says, and she's so hot, but she says how she's crazy and can't be trusted with scissors. And I went, I doubt that's true. I'm missing a ball, long story short. So anyway, you got to believe people when they talk, don't you? So Henda says and Henda says.
Word.
What is the celibacy website, Henda? Your countdown?
Chemdacelibacy.info.
Chemdacelibacy.info.
Yeah, it's not Chemda's celibacy. It's just my name, celibacy.info.
Because we're thinking you're so horny, you're like a cave person. Chemda celibacy. Countdown. Time left until Chemda can go to a sex party as of this recording. 26 days, 20 hours.
So you're going to get, is that what you're going to do? Is just as soon as the time's up, just go straight to a sex party?
I haven't figured it out yet, but I probably shouldn't make that decision while I'm on timeout. See, this is the kind of thought process. Do you know what I went through this whole year? I'm like, maybe I should just get hookers. Or I was like, maybe I only fuck at sex clubs now. Maybe I only date couples. Like, I've been through I took everything seriously, and I haven't landed on anything yet.
It'd be like you're studying Lent, right? And you're giving things up, but meanwhile you're making the sandwich you're gonna eat, and you're downloading the game apps. It's like, no, just
I'm trying not to do that, though it's hard, and I do want to be thoughtful about things, and just be aware, like, if it's happening already.
Archimedes Screw runs this website, and he just said that when it comes to number of unique visitors, that's single individual people.
This is what the website looks like, by the way. It's just a timer.
It's very simple.
Yeah, it's great. No picture, nothing.
No picture.
He says, as of today, 28,759 unique visitors. Chemda.
Wow.
Now, you should wait.
Potential, I mean, I see that as potential hookups.
Yeah.
Right?
Chemda should wait
Can you guys link that to my Instagram then? Jesus.
Well, they're too busy liking Instagram pics because they're just masturbating all over the place.
I've been trying to set up some thirst traps.
Yeah.
So Chemda's going to wait the month out since she went so far. But if I was one of these guys, I don't know, get in line now.
But for real.
I mean, I don't know if she's going to have Easy Pass, but I'm looking at 28,759 people. I'd pay the extra $50.
And that's how I can feel good every day.
Yeah. So you're into whoever it is, guy, girl, whatever.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, if somebody has a wheelchair, can I cut line? So that's a trick people do in theme parks.
That's a separate line. It's cool. I'll get to it.
Oh, wow. Okay, you're going to take that route with it.
Well, this is just
progressive.
This is just in time for Chemda. Ring, R-I-N-G. This is security for your house, Chemda. Ring's mission is to make neighborhoods safer. You might already know about their smart video doorbells and cameras that protect millions of people everywhere.
I do. I have it.
Ring helps you stay connected to your home anywhere in the world, no matter who's trying to bang you, consensual or otherwise. So there's a package. Let's say like there's a package delivery, a surprise visitor, right? You get an alert that you can see, hear, and speak to them all from your phone. Right on your phone. HD video, two-way audio features. That's how it works. You, my friend, have a special offer on a Ring starter kit available right now. I have this too. I love it. With a video doorbell. This is a true story, Trey. The UPS guy should be delivering a box to my door. I know it's coming that day. I'm not home. Mm-hmm. I see that he's approaching my door. I see that he quietly, like I can see that he does it slow, puts the sticker that I wasn't home on the door and walks away, as opposed to at least having the box with him. I go, hey, leave the fucking package. He grabs the package and leaves it.
No way.
Paid for itself immediately.
Oh, that's great.
You have a special offer on a Ring starter kit available right now. With the video doorbell and motion-activated floodlight cam, the starter kit has everything you need to start building a ring of security around your home. Just go to ring.com/KATG. That's ring.com/KATG.
Curtis Van Osh says she can swipe left or right on the doorbell camera. That's right. You come to my door, I still have a decision to make.
See?
Wow, but then you got to give out an address. See, that's where that gets sketchy.
Nah, I got Ring doorbell.
Oh yeah,
Looking
you could
right
put
at
it
you.
where, but you
Doesn't
could
matter.
put that little thing wherever, right?
That's right.
You could put it down the street.
Put it on the subway, yeah.
And Loopy Lou says, I'm going to listen in the bath. Woohoo. I just wanted a shout out to anyone listening in the bath because that's such a good idea.
Okay,
My
well.
smooth voice in
Yes.
your bubbles.
Yeah, and your computer in the water. Facebook is getting ready to pay a potential $3 billion to $5 billion fine from the FTC for user privacy and data practices. What's funny to me is that Facebook's point is going to be like, but they're still using it. No one cares.
Yeah.
You know, if the public doesn't care, then do you still get sued by the FTC?
Well, I'm wondering who's going to see that money. That's a lot of money.
They
Right.
should give it to us since we've been
Yeah,
violated.
I'm sure that's going to happen.
Yeah,
no,
but-
exactly.
But
That's
I
what
put
you
on
would
my,
think,
yeah.
right?
Did you hear my victim voice?
Yeah.
They should give it to us because we were violated.
Right, but you eventually, as a friend, you have to give up when you keep going to the abusive man, right?
Yeah.
You got to be like, okay, but I can't keep giving you billions if you keep. Okay, but show me an easier way to get virtual whiskers on my face, and I will listen.
Dude, I only post show info on Facebook anymore, and like I'm still embarrassed that I do that. Yeah, I just feel it still feels kind of dirty.
You've been on dating on the dating apps.
Yeah.
Are you a fan or not a fan?
No,
Because why?
because the it's been stereotypical. The very few dates that I've actually been on, the girls, it was like, oh, you took your creative angles with your pictures. And then the other part of it, though, which is a big part,
Do you get nervous?
He's saying she does.
they do.
Oh, they do creative pictures. Okay.
Right. It's like, oh, you took that from a very flattering angle. I
10
see.
years ago angle.
Right. Nice use of filters, I
Right.
guess.
Well, how about you? Do you always think you give a fair representation?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'd feel
when
bad
is
if I
Trey
didn't.
not Trey?
Like,
When is Trey like, damn, you caught me, my hair's not done?
Is there weed in every picture?
no, but
Okay, well,
one
that's-
picture with me smoking a joint very clearly, and then pictures with me with different lengths of hair. So it's like whatever you catch me in, and then all recent, within the last couple years.
Okay.
So I want to make sure that the fat face, the amount of fat on my face
Is
matches.
prominent.
It matches with the whatever picture is
Okay.
up.
So is that the main thing? They're lying about their looks?
A little bit.
Okay. Is it hard to communicate a sense of humor in the apps?
Well, that's the other problem is the texting is a big side of it, which I didn't take into consideration.
Well, do you usually start the conversation?
Yeah, on the one, yeah. Now Bumble, the girls have to start, but then the
What's
girls
your-
don't start.
What's your move when you
Like
start?
I get it now.
How do you kind of go into it?
Oh, well, that's the one thing is like because they're all like, "Hey, be witty and creative or whatever," and it's like, why is this all on me? Like you have some responsibility here to be witty also.
Well, first of all, you're already
Especially-
crying, so ew.
Yeah.
Left. Come on, start again. Start again. Let's do it right. That was just terrible. The fuck? Your first thing is complaining? Stop. How do you start?
So
Well, you want me to be witty? Okay, we're gonna start again. Go.
yeah, like maybe I would mention something from one of the, that's prominent in one of their pictures.
That's cool. Like what?
She's like if it's a certain band or something,
Okay.
That they're wearing a T-shirt of, it's like, oh, nice, whatever. Or a certain thing from somewhere, I'll be like, oh, are you from wherever?
Love that. Okay. Cool. And what's the usual response? Is it like a yes, no, or are you going in? Is
Yeah,
she
most of
going
them are
in?
yes, no's, and it's like, oh, okay, I see how this is going. Like this is up to me to ask questions
Okay,
and try
that's-
to get information out of you.
That I'll
Or-
give you because I don't want to have an interview.
Right.
Yeah.
Or completely joking around with them and trying to see who has a sense of humor and them just not getting it.
How bad is not getting it? Because I do think that people just assume that somebody knows their tone, but that tone could be.
Well, and then
You know what I mean?
and then my problem is I'm a comic too, so my line is different than everybody else's as far as.
But
like,
also the stuff that you say in jest,
Yeah.
people say for real.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to differentiate between you and other people. Like you can say,
Fair.
do you know what I mean? Like you can say something and you're so sarcastic because it's such a ridiculous thing. But for every time you say something that's ridiculous, somebody else said that to me that was
For real.
Serious.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Because people are on the other side of everything.
Well, like that bit that I have about it is that was a real thing. Was like there was a girl I matched with who had all group pictures on her profile, and I mean it was obvious which one was her. I mean it was the same one. Right. It was just the only one that was in every picture.
It's a game of mastermind. Which one?
Exactly. So yeah, first off, you made me do a game to figure out which one was you. So the first message I sent her was like, "Hey, what's up with your hot friend?"
That's funny, but I do know you. Yeah.
Right. Because I wasn't specific about which friend, so that's how my brain justified it.
But it does sound like a neg.
Well, and then I figured that out after the message was already sent.
And in her head, she knows which one's the hot friend.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I can see this totally snowballing for her, like especially if she's at work or something, checking her thing. And then she's like, oh my God, this mother.
I
and
knew
then
I
she's
shouldn't
like,
have put Cindy in my photos.
Right, exactly.
And then coincidentally, Cindy texted her, "We have to talk."
Well, which is why I didn't say what's up with the hot blonde or the,
I get the logic.
I was just like, what's up with your hot friends?
And did she?
No response at all.
Oh, okay.
And like even after my brain figured the rest of it out, I was like, all right, I'll just send her a little message. It's like, hey, I wasn't, trying to explain myself, and was like, well, that was even worse.
Right.
But
and so left it open, but never heard from her.
A for effort, right?
Yeah.
What do you think?
You just die. There's you can't go back. You know. Obviously, she took it wrong. The end. How I Met Your Mother. Funny story. She thought I was hitting on a friend. I was just being goofy. I don't think her friends are hot at all. Anyways, she had ugly friends. Anyway, we worked it out after I explained, and then went on our first date. No, it's the end of it. Do you remember the story where I was talking to this girl on social media? She wasn't into me on one of these apps, dating apps, and she wasn't into me right away.
Right.
But I do read the profile, and I see she connected to some article where the point was, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. So she turned me down.
This is the thing that you're gonna fucking
No, I still stick by
start
this.
joking about.
I still stick by this.
No, I mean it's funny. Like I'm just fucking with you, but it is funny.
Well, I have enough people fucking with me.
To start with the Me Too movement. You know what I mean?
So I go, oh, that's interesting. Actually, I've decided we shouldn't go out. No, she just said shouldn't.
Right.
I decided we shouldn't go out because, and you're a wonderful person, but you're not a hell yes. And then she wrote back, fuck you, you're a weirdo. I'm like, you didn't even stop for a second and think, where did I get this hell yes from? It was from your profile. If you thought about it, you'd probably be turned on. I'm the one guy that reads the profile.
Yeah.
And that turned into a mess. Now,
this is so paraphrasing, and I was so on this woman's side because, Keith, your voice is so specific to you that, like,
I type in Comic Sans.
No.
What are you talking about?
Well, sometimes if I wouldn't know you and know what level of trust I can have in you because I know you so well, you just sound like some other fucking tall, good-looking 45-year-old guy. You know what I mean? Who like gets dates, who was a jock at some point. You just sound like that to me.
Right, and I don't care. So fuck him. That's what I'm saying with Trey. Trey tried to make a joke. It didn't work out. The end.
Yep.
Now you have to burn her house. That's the end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't go back. You can't go back and fix it. You make it. You want to push it and be a little funnier than everybody else. Well, that's the risk you took.
No, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, especially if you're getting all this pressure from them, in their profiles. Like, what do you got? Be funny, dance, monkey, dance. It's like, all right, well, I'm gonna dance, and you may not like it.
I think that's just code for please don't rape me.
No, I don't think it is.
I don't have it that hard.
Whatever.
I know. I'm just messing.
Come on, but that's what I'm saying. So then I get on Bumble, the one where the girls are supposed to be the ones that, and then it seems like it's the same thing with the girls. Like the girls don't I match with a lot of girls and hardly get any messages.
Oh, so you could match, but she won't. She has to initiate.
Yeah.
So when they do initiate, what kind of conversation do you have?
Yeah, it's not any they all start with. It's funny because they all start with just like, hey, how's it going?
I'll kill you. Hey, how's it going?
No, for real.
It's not going.
And
It'll
that's
never
like, wait a
go.
minute. I just spent all this time on this other app worrying about my opening line, and it's got to be stellar. and then you guys are coming at me with, hey, how's it going? Because they expect that even though they have to start, they still expect you to be the first one to monkey dance.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's hard to not want you to do that because you dominate so much of our world, like not just physically but mentally, and like we do put effort like once we meet you and just generally in life. So in order for us to know that you're not psychotic, we need you to do like just a little bit more work up front.
Is that too much?
It is for fear.
Is that too much credit and people just aren't creative? And this is most women aren't creative like most men are.
I think most people are not creative. Absolutely. You're drawing from a pool when you're a comic, you know, like, so you're stepping outside of comedy and you're talking to accountants and lawyers and, you know, regular folks who are not talking on mic all the time and trying to entertain. I get that. However, I think that from my point of view, I would make more effort than that. But I do want you to take like just a little bit more effort just to show me that you're not just throwing shit up, because a lot of guys just swipe right just to match with everybody. Like a lot of guys do the minimal work, and then when we're not completely enthusiastic, it's just boring to you. You know what I mean? It's just, I need a little bit more from you because of sexism, I guess.
Well, I need the same back, though.
Yeah, but I'm telling you where I need it from.
Yeah.
I need it from, you have been oppressing me for a very long time. I need you to undo that for a second. And then I'll come at you.
I totally get that.
Right?
I totally get that. And that's what I'm saying is like, I'll make an effort. But if you don't, well, then this is going to be over really quick.
Yeah. Because you want a lot of personality, which I think is great. Not everyone's looking for a lot of personality. I think.
True.
Yeah.
True. But it's just this, I just don't like this whole attitude of that, like coming at me aggressive like that. Like, you need, because we've been oppressed for so long, fucking dance. And it's like, all right, I'm going to dance, but then I'm going to start throwing poop pretty quick.
Sure. But question, do you think that I was just kind of like coming at you with the oppression and like all that stuff?
I mean, I know you, but I mean, I got a little tense.
Yeah.
But not like, again, I know you, so I know, we're just having a conversation here.
And that you can die at any moment.
But it was like, I don't remember oppressing any of you. And I get that men have.
Yeah, but I don't remember being boring at you either. But we're talking in generalities, right? Yeah. And so I was responding to your generality with my generality, and you thought I was yelling at you. So it's just, it's something to think about.
Word.
You, I'll tell you why I ask you this, but do you have sex, what you would say the average amount? You've had sex, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Now here's why I'm asking you this.
Yeah.
Your sister
is
how old?
That's a weird way to segue into sister.
Yeah.
How old?
Well, we've talked about her. She's 48.
48 years old.
Yeah.
Still never had sex.
Still, correct.
And then everything but type thing, making out a little bit.
Yeah.
Man, she's maybe kissed a dude, but was it probably 3 years now at Christmas? Me and her were in the car by ourselves, and I just was straight up, hey, have you even made out with the dude?
Oh no!
And at that point, she
hold
said
on, hold on. I saw this video this morning. Stop. I'm just guessing. Okay, so you say, hey, seriously, tell me the truth.
Yeah.
And what'd she say?
Yeah. No.
Wow.
Oh wait, not made out with anyone?
Right.
Huh.
Yeah.
Do you get like do you think it's an entire Jesus vibe, or it's maybe possibly homosexuality or
it's
asexuality?
Well, it's a Jesus vibe to an extent, but like I think she would make out with somebody surely if she had the chance. But I don't think it's. I just the few dates that she's been on, it hasn't gotten to that point.
And you think she wants it too?
Well, sure.
I don't know. Not everybody wants that.
Totally.
Does she put up like physical walls? Like, is she heavier? Does she not take care of the way she looks?
No, I mean she looks great. She goes to the gym all the time. She's a gym rat.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean we've looked at pictures on here before. She there's nothing wrong with her physically. She's attractive.
Should we make her a website?
Oh man.
Do you feel bad for it? Like, are you worried for her?
Yeah.
Does it make her sad?
I know it does to an extent, but she's one of these busy people. Like, she's just constantly going. She's wound tight, yo.
Is
So
there an
half
old?
the time she doesn't stop to think about it, really, I guess.
Is there an old love that got away?
No.
Okay.
No,
Is
that's what
there-
I'm saying. Like she went to high school prom with her friends, never dated anybody in college. And then it's just been within the last couple of years, she's talked about actually had a couple dates. And then brought one guy to a comedy show in Austin and met him and was like, "Eey."
I have a brother that may have been with one person.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
May have.
And he has a droopy dog kind of personality. A woe is me.
Oh, yeah. See, Sherry's not like that, but she's just because she's very. She's the
Rigid?
one. Yeah.
She's the
like
one
you're
who
gonna
you went
do
on
what she wants to
vacation
do.
and you had an itinerary.
Oh yeah, completely.
Yeah.
Like it's not stereotypical. It's like, sis, you don't have to do that. Like people make that joke about people like you as an exaggeration, and it was full on itinerary and the plastic sleeves. And you just learn to so now when we go on vacations as a family, it's like she has her list of things. And so now she knows,
She doesn't impose that on
Me and
anyone.
Brent will be like, okay, look, we'll do these ones with you, but we're not doing this, and this.
Yeah, I can't look at my watch all vacation, so I can be on time for some fun thing. I don't want to be on time for anything. But do you think?
And she's funny about okay, so the same thing. Like if we're all hanging out for Christmas, none of us are married or have kids or anything, so it's our parents and me and my brother and sister. And my parents will be like, okay, you each get one night to pick where we go to dinner.
Oh, that's fun.
Right. But so then what my sister will do is she'll pick her place. And then if it comes to me, I'll be like, oh, well, let's go to Phil's barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sherry will be like, yeah, Phil's isn't bad, but are you sure you don't want to go to? And she'll play that game,
Right.
and then she'll just keep slowly working at you, trying to get you to
You thought
cave.
that this might be subtle, but the biggest argument in couples is what do we have for dinner? So it's never going to work out.
Is it really?
Number one, followed by communication and money.
Oh, yeah. Thank God. I'm never getting married.
What's for dinner? Whatever you want until you both die.
Oh, I'm so never getting married.
Do you think that she masturbates?
Man, I hope so.
Right?
Yeah, I haven't had the balls to ask her that, but I've clearly thought about it. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like I should probably ask her soon.
But what are you going to do
Before she
within the next
explodes?
couple years?
But she's heard of it. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, completely.
Right, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's harder for women to start. Like men somehow, like penis havers, eventually just kind of rub up against something.
Right.
I was 25 when I first came by myself.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It took a long time, and it took a vibrator, and it took me buzzing the hair off of my. What are we calling it? That's going to be okay for you guys.
Vagina, we're really
Vagina
into.
is okay.
Vagina?
Okay. Because
Yeah.
I've said vagina and people said I sound too clinical. So I was buzzing the hair off.
Hot box.
Buzzing
Gash.
the hair off my gash.
Axe wound.
I got an axe wound.
The pink princess.
So no, I didn't get it. So but
Okay. Flappers.
it's sort of like in periphery you can feel the buzz. And
You
I'm
mean
like,
on the vertical smile?
On the meat curtains?
I'm gonna stick with Poon.
I know you were. Somehow you found a way.
I'm gonna stay in Queens and just stick it with Poon. So anyway, so as I'm buzzing, I'm like, oh, something's happening over there. Like the vibration, the movement of the buzzer. And so I got a vibrator, and then I was like, I'm taking this seriously this time. I have tried to masturbate, and it has just fallen down because I'm not interested in myself like that. So I lit candles. I got it ready. I put on music, and I took a goddamn hour. And I
you made
came.
love to yourself.
I lost my virginity so hard to myself that night.
Wow.
I never made love to me like I made love to me that day. And I was patient, and I was just like, this is because I could still feel it because of the vibration. I'm like, it is there. I'm just not catching it. I'm on my way, and it's almost there. And when I did, I was like, I found the button. I know where it is. And then it was on.
Yeah, I had a
Well,
hor-
no, but you had sex before that?
I did, yeah. And I came and everything. Yeah. It's just with my hand down there, I'm like, well, I know it's me. That's not hot.
25 when you first.
Yeah.
But that's like.
It's a bad move. Don't do it to yourselves. Get that vibrator, work it out. schedule time.
Well, that's one I think everybody's different. Like, there were some little girls running around rubbing their crotches on stuff.
For sure. And I was like a little perverted kid. Like, I'd be like, let's play a game where, oops, I have to bend over and I'm not wearing underwear.
What?
Yeah. Like, I know I had these weird, and it's not like I didn't even know what sex was, but I know that I was like, I should probably show you something right now. I don't know why.
Ken's like, is the grass getting tall? Should I cut it with the riding lawnmower again? You cut it this morning, sweetheart. Okay, but maybe.
Just looking for opinions.
So it knows who's in charge. Okay. My youngest brother would be in the car, and when you take a car and you go down a hill and then quickly up another one, you get that little.
Yeah.
He looks at everybody in the car and it's like, everybody feels that, right?
Oh, what a sweetheart.
He was 32.
He's been shamed ever since. He's just confirming, right?
Right, yeah.
Like, do I have special balls or is that you? How do you ask those questions? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, wait, because you just like, woo, everyone feel good today?
How awesome would that be if that was unique to you? That would be great.
But that would be so weird. Like, how do I explain this to you? What happens to me when the car goes up and down?
Just be giggling the whole time. Right, be like, you guys have no idea, man.
Yeah. Wait, you think you like road trips? I love road trips.
I'm going to church. I'll come with you. What with me?
You're like an Uber driver for no reason.
Right. Just drive me around the block.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you're on acid and your friends aren't, and you're like, you guys have no idea what I'm saying right now. Just, I can't even.
This kind of goes with what we were saying earlier. Do you ever find your sister having an argument with you? Say you think people in jail or prison should be allowed to vote, and she says no, and then do you think, you know what, you got bigger problems. Why are you arguing with me about the Boston bomber being able to vote? There's only one Boston bomber. There's a lot more people busted for a dime bag. Why do you work on your, what are we calling it nowadays?
Gash.
Right.
Dude, and again, I hope she masturbated before 25. Like, I hope she beat you on that, but I don't know. I think if people want to put money on it, let me know, and I guess I could ask her.
That would be hard to believe.
Man.
That would be really, because it usually comes with other stuff that makes you not want to touch yourself, let alone have somebody else touch you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't imagine you being like, I watch porn and I fucking get myself off and I use, like, I have a dildo, I have a vibrator, I have a butt plug, but no, you can't. I don't know. She doesn't seem sexual,
No, but again, you can tell that she does want a relationship, It just hasn't.
Has she debated about prostitution?
Ooh.
Hiring one.
I don't know. I'll have to ask her. That's a good question, though, too.
You'd prefer asking if she thought of a hooker before touching herself?
To me, I would.
Yeah?
I think that's a group conversation. I think I cover both of those in one conversation.
There you go. Yeah. I mean, if you took the trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might as well stick around the cul-de-sac for a second.
Yeah, we're going to pick her restaurant as a favorite tonight anyway.
Wow. See if anybody else needs a
one
ride.
ice cream cone's worth of conversation with those two questions.
All right, here's the letter I was talking about, Hemda. This is from Mary, but she'd rather remain anonymous.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. But she would like to remain anonymous. Dear Hemda and Keith, I've listened to your podcast for around 5 years now.
You're so smart for 5 years.
And I can't believe what an important and consistent part of my life it has become. I live in England, so after getting past the initial cultural reference barriers, I began to find each episode enlightening and relatable in some way. So thank you. She means as soon as she figured out what an elevator is and what an apartment is. She's like, oh, okay, now I get it. I have so admired the strength that you both demonstrate
Wait, whose strength more than whose?
It doesn't, well, listen to this. Through being emotionally vulnerable and resilient at the same time, Hemda particularly. With all the shit you've gone through, and you managed to stay honest and grounded, you're truly inspirational for me. On that note, here's my request for advice. I know you don't often do advice on your show, but I can't think of a podcast whose insights I would respect more on my current situation. Trigger warnings all around here, she says.
Oh, I love trigger warnings.
At the beginning of this year...
It's like, here comes the fun.
At the beginning of this year, my partner had an emotional breakdown, expressed feeling suicidal, went cold with me, and pushed me away despite my efforts to support him. By the way, later they say... She says her age. It's about 24, I remember. I eventually ended the relationship because I couldn't take the anxiety. As hard as it was, I believe I got out before I lost myself trying to support someone who refused to help themselves. My own mental health plummeted with that, adding to a very stressful job. I haven't been coping well. This week I found out that I have surgery to remove a cancerous lump on my thyroid, my neck. Well, the good news is maybe you don't, right? Last night, my 22-year-old sister got sexually assaulted by a stranger in broad daylight and on the very street that she lives on. I'd love to hear your thoughts on how you stay positive and strong throughout times of hardship, mainly when every fiber of my body wants to reach out to my ex for support. Have you felt that way, by the way?
I have, yeah. I mean, not recently, but I did in the beginning when we first broke up. My myasthenia gravis acted up, and like he's always been so good about that stuff. And I wasn't in the habit of calling other people for help because it's so vulnerable. Like, come sit with me and like, you know, I could probably do this myself, but could you just like sit there while I cry and like massage my arm that's hurting so much? Like, who are you asking that from? It turns out a lot of people want to do that. Like, people love people.
Though knowing this would probably just create more chaos, reaching out to the ex, and added pressure on his mental state. I don't want to create a victimized 2019 hates me narrative around this year. You could, by the way, if you ask me. After everything that has been thrown at me and those I love, I want to feel hopeful about the future. The good news is the cancer is in its earliest stages and has an extremely high recovery rate. Doctors say it's the, quote, best cancer to get. I'm 24 years old, a trainee high school teacher. Thank you for your time reading this email and amazing work you do. Henda, how do you not kill yourself?
Oh my God. First of all, whoever wrote this is so wonderful and is doing such a good job, because I think that people are looking to be happy, and I think you should stop doing that, because happiness is a feeling and feelings are fleeting. So I don't know why you expect to be sad for so long, but not expect to be, you don't expect to be sad for so long, but you do expect happiness to happen all the time, when that's never going to be the case. So if you found cancer, sit down and cry, feel bad for yourself for a minute, do these things, write into a show that you want to, hear from, tell your sister, and let people join in, never worry alone, and just kind of go, that's shitty. I'm not calling my ex, that's shitty. I wish I could, but the fact that you know not to do it so that it doesn't get worse means, and you're not going to feel it now, but it means that you're getting better. Because every minute that you don't fall for your addiction is another minute on the other side that one day you're going to go, oh, I feel different than a month ago, a year ago, 5 years ago. If you keep going like, sadness is happening to me right now, I'm going to be very honest about it. I don't like that I have cancer. Because I think people are like, oh, Chemda, how are you so cool with, being, I'm not cool with it. But I recognize that it's happening. So I'm not denying that it sucks, and I'm not living just in it, because other stuff is going on as well. So if you keep looking for the other stuff that's going to equal sadness is a very easy feeling to pick up, and it's a very easy feeling to spiral, because you can pile on, because nobody feels guilty about feeling sad. Nobody feels like, there's no reason, but you feel guilty feeling like I'm the best at this, or life is good, or, despite my sister being sexually assaulted, I'm having a great sex life, So pick up happiness, pick up gratitude, live in that, make those decisions. When it's uncomfortable, do it anyway. If it's going to make you feel good later, go through the shitty things in order to get to the other side. Because if you try to go around it, it'll punch you in the face when you get to the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean anything?
No, totally. Yeah. It's the...
And you're doing great, this person.
Right. I feel like what we were talking about earlier, this applies to. It's just the more shitty things you go through, the more it helps you put shitty things into perspective when they happen again. Does that make sense? Am I like... It
could happen that way, or the more shitty things that happen to you, the more you can't handle it. But you cannot handle it alone.
Right,
Nobody
exactly.
can. Yeah.
And I think that's the thing, too, is that it's like, when my first grandma died, that was the first big loss I had in my life. I lost 40 pounds,
She weighed 40 pounds?
Yeah. Constantly carrying it around my back. It was a whole, Yoda situation.
It was time to go.
It was really weird.
Yeah, I get
Well, things like that are weird. You know what's weird to me that I suddenly get sad and I had to learn not to be sad about? My parents are not there, but they're still alive. But they're there for my brothers. So when stuff happens, I'm like, this is fucked up. You should be there for me. And that's a very special kind of sad that I haven't completely gotten over. So I had to learn to be, because when I go, oh, now I have to ask Keith to pick me up from the hospital. Xerxes is taking me to the hospital. Andrea is, letting me use her space because it's easier for me for work. It's like for me to spiral, I'll start going like, that should be my mother doing that for me. My parents are still alive. Like, I should be calling them family. And instead, I'm just like, who says? Who says?
Yeah.
This is going to be uncomfortable, but it's not going to be comfortable to call my mother.
Right.
So it's just like we put so much emphasis on, I have a family. That means it's permanent. That means I have love. And it's just not. Just relearn to like understand, go where the love is actually.
Yeah.
Instead of like following where it's supposed to be.
Yeah. And I mean, that'll help you all around. Like, I mean,
Totally.
I've had other things that I've had to deal with where I'm not dealing with those with my family. I'm dealing with them with friends.
Right. And those friends are the ones that are going to actually pull me through it in a way that even though you get along with your parents are just not meant for this thing.
Right.
That's why I pick up different friends from different places. One friend you see once a year, another friend you see maybe every other day. Like, everything counts. Everybody counts. Enjoy whatever you can.
Yeah.
Have some ice cream.
And it is easy to, of course, to list the negative things. Body pain. Your partner's getting surgery, so you have to do 5 shows a day. The list can go. But try to focus.
For how long, too?
Right. And that's just one of the fucking problems. But no, if you focus on the good. I just got fake Catherine got another email from Real Dad. So that's exciting things, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, Trey Galyon on Twitter and Instagram. And the website is Trey Galyon, GALYON.com. The new album will be out. Take a look. Stay on top of his stuff. Trey Galyon live at Creep Records.
Yeah.
Live at Creep Records.
Yep.
That's exciting.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun little record. It's we recorded it at their record store / head shop down in Philly, and it's a little room that seats like 40, 50 people.
You know what's weird? Track 6, I got an advance copy. He actually purchases stuff from the head shop right there, like during it. It's very interactive. Thank you all very much. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Hey.